caves, common to many different regions, whether mountains or rocky coastline, and often of considerable length, weaving their way in various forms within the depths of the Earth's crust, undoubtedly belong to nature's most remarkable features. First, only fissures between two almost parallel walls meeting above, then irregularly and dissimilarly outlined vaults, occasionally reaching the dimensions of halls, then tubes or tightly wound passages of partly round, partly angular cross-section, often stretching together with side passages far into the hillside. The relationship between man and cave is as old as mankind. Whereas early man used caves for mystical cults, his medieval descendants searched in them for bones of the unicorn, a reputedly infallible medicine. The contemporaries of the last century were content with indulgent descriptions of alien underground worlds. During this period, the world's first show cave was opened in Istria, then in Austria, in the area called Karst, a limestone region with sparse vegetation. The original geographical name karst is now used for all regions of similar character. A karst region is not always sparsely vegetated. The Swabian Alb, for example, demands closer observation to be recognized as a karst region. What exactly is karst?
Das Typische einer Karstlandschaft ist die fast ausschließliche unterirdische Entwässerung. Das bedeutet, an der Oberfläche haben wir fast keine oberirdischen Gewässer.
Typical for a karst region is the subterranean drainage. Surface streams and lakes are few. The water soon disappears underground. A karst area must therefore consist of soluble rock. The water finds its way then along rifts and fissures within the karst to reach a resurgence.
Und kommt dann an den Quellen wieder heraus. Und es gibt also auf der ganzen Welt
Worldwide, there are many such regions to be found.
die aus solchen verkarstungsfähigen Gesteinen aufgebaut sind. Ich denke nur etwa daran, dass
1/3 of Austria consists of such areas.
des Gebietes aus solchen Gesteinen aufgebaut ist. Und wenn man dazu
Considering the fact that 2/3 of our rain and snow falls in these areas, it is indeed a tremendous amount of water absorbed by the rock to reappear at a spring.
Menge, die durch diese Kalkstöcke durchrinnt und in Form von Quellen herauskommt. Wenn man nur das Beispiel der Bundeshauptstadt Wien hernimmt.
As Vienna's water supply comes from 3 karst areas of Rack, Schneeberg and Hochschwab, it's easy to recognize the importance of karst hygiene.
Der Karstgebiete einen ganz besonderen Stellenwert hat.
This soon became obvious to the French caving pioneer Edouard Alfred Martelle, after an illness caused by drinking water from a karst spring. After recovering, he traced the source of the water to a doline in which he found the carcass of a calf. He then concentrated his studies on the research of subterranean watercourses, thus laying the foundation for modern speleology. Due to Martelle's research, a law was issued in France in 1902 forbidding the pollution of karst regions. Only 6 years later, Martelle was satisfied to find that deaths in France due to typhus had been reduced by 50%. Today, a century later, typhus is no longer a threat, but our karst water reserves are now endangered by modern toxic substances. The rate of flow from the karst drain to the resurgence is very fast. This means that the water is hardly filtered. Polluted water can thus be transported over a great distance in a very short time. For this reason, karst regions demand special protection. It is therefore important to know about the subterranean watercourses, for the determination of which dye tracing is today carried out, as already in Martelle's time. A dye, for example uranin, which is absolutely harmless despite its green color, is added to the water before it disappears. Volume and rate of flow can be ascertained by examination of the likely resurgences. By means of simultaneous addition of different dyestuffs to potential tributaries, it's possible to determine the catchment area of a spring.
Ich sage immer, ohne Plan geht nichts.
I always say there can be no progress without maps. It's important to record what is already known to man. Columbus and his successors mapped the lands they discovered in order to show what is already known. And the speleologist does the same. He also needs a map, a cave survey, in order to plan his future expeditions. How far? What sort of problems are to be encountered? The survey is an answer to these questions. The survey is also very important in the event of a rescue, if something should happen. And of course, it's of the utmost importance for all scientific research. The distances to be covered in order to reach unexplored underground areas become longer and longer. Cave systems of up to 600 kilometers in length and 1,600 meters in depth set hard demands on their explorers. Shafts and avens, squeezes and boulder chokes have to be passed. It often takes 1 or 2 days to reach a new area.
Weiter.
Ah, super. Super.
And only then are new discoveries to be made.
Bist du drauf?
Moment. Gut.
4,91 Meter. 4,91. Ja. Und jetzt kommt die Richtung.
A point-to-point survey registering length, direction and inclination of the cave presents a basic structure.
2,5. Die Neigung, das sind -11.
Additional sketches made in situ contribute further details to the survey. Such cave surveys are often very complex and of great detail. Conclusions can be drawn from them from scientists of various faculties. For example, they may reveal to geologists the history of the cave formation and also of the surrounding mountains. The work of the speleologist allows them to look deep into the Earth's crust. This is why we first teach the practical cave explorer the various techniques of cave negotiation in order to ensure his ability to visit caves in safety. Besides the local club training, regular international training weeks are organized. Here, for example, in one of the large Swiss karst areas, Schrattenflug, organized by the German, Austrian and Swiss caving associations. Old hands pass their not only practical knowledge on to young cavers.
Es ist unbedingt notwendig, dass nicht nur Sport betreibt oder nicht nur aus Abenteuerlust in die Höhlen geht.
It's certainly necessary that he visits caves not only for sporting reasons or looking for adventure, but also able to make important notes and observations on his trips.
In der Natur, in diesem komplexen System, das auch im Untergrund herrscht.
He must have a basic knowledge of these complicated subterranean ecological systems. He must know what to observe and how and where he can help to compile useful data.
Mithelfen kann, entsprechende Daten mitzubringen.
Dann sieht man sie nicht mehr, ist nicht mehr aufgeschlossen. Man sieht, wenn man den Weg hochgeht und gut aufpasst, sieht man, dass man unten noch tertiäre Kalke hat. Und plötzlich fehlen die total. Also wahrscheinlich läuft man da irgendwo drüber.
Meter 91, 4,91.
4,91.
Neigung -11.
As in all other branches of science, the computer finds wide use in the processing and administration of speleological data.
0,2.
Unten 0,2.
Unten 0,2. 0,2.
Höhlen sind ja dreidimensionale Gebilde und unsere Höhlenpläne sind Karten, zweidimensionale Karten, und es ist immer sehr schwierig, sich das räumlich im Raum selbst vorzustellen.
Caves are three-dimensional objects, but our surveys, cave maps, are two-dimensional. It's always very difficult to imagine the spatial expansion. Here the computer gives us the possibility of three-dimensional presentation. If I make a 3D picture of a small cave just for myself, I can call it a game. But if I can depict an enormous area with large cave systems, that is, caves of many kilometers in length, all together, and then superimpose the surface, then I can no longer call it a game. For now, decisive information gained can only be made possible by this form of presentation. Information, surveys and documentation are recorded in registers. In these lies a latent knowledge which deserves to be sorted and evaluated in the interests of the public. However, the budget granted by the state for this research is negligible. The water that formed the caves often presents an obstacle to the speleologist. Up until about 30 years ago, a passage filled with water meant the end to further exploration. The beginning of scuba diving allowed the investigation of subterranean waterways at an enormous additional expenditure of material as well as risk.
Die Zukunft der Höhlenforschung würde ich mir so wünschen, dass vor allem
in future speleology, I would like to see more recognition on behalf of political persons for the work done by what is still only a small group of people.
Den politischen Entscheidungsträgern mehr gewürdigt und auch bekannter wäre.
Not only on an Austrian level, or that of any other single European country, but in cooperation with large international organizations, even as great as UNESCO.
Mit den großen internationalen Organisationen, wobei ich also bis an die UNESCO denke.
As state support is practically non-existent, scientific cave research in the service of the general public is unthinkable without the voluntary personal commitment of speleologists. The abundance of data brought by speleologists out of the darkest depths to the light of day allow us a view into the complex interaction of the ecological system in karst. They show us just how sensitive it reacts to disturbances and thus why it is in need of special protection. In this way, the fascination of the underground world in many parts of the Earth, also in Europe, contributes not only to the security of known water supplies, but also to the discovery of new ones.